You in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can start.
Conference recording started. Conference recording started. The recording has started.
Pick up your copy of the Son of Man Speaks magazine today. With the Son of Man Speaks magazine, you'll receive automotive tips, wholesome recipes, financial advice, and most importantly, a true understanding of the Word of God. Get your copy of the Son of Man Speaks from these select locations. Sisters, Braid 2, 18070 Mount Elliott, the Shell gas station, 13110 West 7 Mile Road. To get a subscription, call 601-786-9788. That's 601-786-9788. The Son of Man Speaks magazine, dedicated to becoming free indeed. Attention, brothers and sisters, viewers and listeners, now available. Your Son of Man Speaks magazine digital subscription. Your digital subscription to the Son of Man Speaks magazine will also include our monthly e-newsletter, both delivered to your inbox. If you have any questions regarding the digital magazine subscription or digital newsletter, you may send an email to shabazsprinting@thenewnationofislam.com. That's shabazsprinting@thenewnationofislam.com. Or call 1-601-786-9788. That's 1-601-786-9788. You can also subscribe online. Visit www.thenewnationofislam.com and click on the magazine tab to register for your online subscription.
Murray, out of the pocket. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Murray, he's the downfield.
Oh man, the power is out again.
You have reached Quality Construction and Engineering, your #1 emergency generator source.
Power outages can be unpredictable, inconvenient, and disruptive to your life. With a backup generator, your life goes on uninterrupted with power when you need it. Not to mention the peace of mind of having your property sealed to weather the storm.
Whoever would have thought in Houston, Texas, that we would have an ice storm? It did happen, and that Sunday night when it came in, I got up and looked at the front door, everything was pitch black. It was horrible. Something out of a novel or science book that you'd never seen before. Once the lights went out, my generator popped on. It ran 55 hours. The only one had lights.
Get your backup generator installed with Quality Construction. We install both residential and commercial generators, so you're always covered. Schedule your consultation with us by calling 1-855-876-9370. That's 1-855-876-9370. Or visit us online at www.powerqec.com. That's www.powerqec.com. Financing is available with low monthly payments and 0% interest for 18 months.
That was the best investment that we could have ever made. That's my backup generator.
Generators with Quality Construction, built tough enough to weather the storm.
SOS Graphic Design provides agency quality professional graphic design services from established companies to startups and individuals, creating a simple logo to complete rebranding and delivering visual communication with print media. Everything SOS Graphic Design does has a single unifying objective to set your business apart. We are at your service. Call 313-342-2166. That's 313-342-2166 or online at www.sosgraphicdesigns.com.
Have you ever searched through a shelf full of greeting cards and still couldn't find the one that echoed how you felt? Well, search no more. cards are sure to celebrate all holidays. We also have cards for special occasions. We are your one-stop shop for unique and three-dimensional, handmade greeting cards for all occasions. Specializing, we also take custom orders. Every card is crafted with care and made with love. So call Designs by Beach today at 601-451-9536 or visit our website www.designsbybeach.com.
Come check out the new Sisters Braid 2 hair braiding and natural hair care salon located at 18070 Mount Elliott Street. Our new salon is spacious with adequate parking, Wi-Fi, and all brand new state-of-the-art salon equipment. Come meet your local hair braiders and natural hair care specialists and check out our many hair care services such as hair treatments, box braids, cornrows, tree braids, Havana twists, children's braids, natural twists, lock extensions, kinky twists, goddess locks, updos, full weaves, and more. Please feel free to visit us on the web at www.sistersbraid2.com or call 313-826-0498. Here at Sisters Braid 2, we offer exceptional care for exceptional hair. We look forward to seeing you. Sisters Braid 2 is a proud recipient of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund.
We would like to invite you to help support the efforts of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. Visit the website at www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. That's www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. We often hear how we need to work together to rebuild the city, and we're actually doing it. You can make online donations and click on links to track the progress of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. And for more information, 313-868-0000 is a local number. Again, 313-868-0000. Support the Unity and Rebuilding Fund.
To make your online tithes, offerings, donations, gifts to the Son of Man through Cash App, make your payment to $New Nation of Islam. That's $New Nation of Islam. Or call 601-786-7056. 601-786-7056.
The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Brothers and sisters, are you tired of reading the Holy Scripture and not really understanding what you read? And if you're reasonably sure, have you ever tested that what you feel you know with someone that has a different view than your own? Then let's talk with one another. Then let's reason with one another on a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man every Wednesday at 9 p.m., Friday at 9 p.m., and Sunday at 12 noon on WHPR TV Detroit Live, 88.1 FM WHPR, and Comcast Cable. Why don't you call and discuss the Holy Bible, and if you have one, the Holy Quran, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and their true meaning? You can call in live on the air at area code 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. That's 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. And now, let's go live with a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just. I greet all of you once again who are hungry and thirsty for the truth of righteousness. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. I want to say to you if you come onto our come upon one of our videos and you leave a message in another language, Spanish, Arabic, whatever, I'm going to erase it because I don't know what you're saying. I don't read Spanish and I don't read Arabic. I read English. The class is conducted in the English language, so I don't know. It makes it hard to converse with you if you obviously if you're looking at the video you speak English, and if you're not going to translate what you mean by what you say, don't even bother to put it up there because I'm going to erase it, because I monitor our videos. I'm not going to let you misrepresent anything that I said. You see, this world is filled with people who misrepresent what other people say. That's why I always, when I say a person said a thing, most of the time I give you a recording that lets you hear them saying that. Do you understand? And I don't take it out of context. I let them say what they have to say. Do you understand? Because I make judgments about people. If you are a judge, if you are someone who's making judgments about people, you should never take what a person says out of context, because it taints your judgment and it makes people distrust your judgment when they find out that you took a sound bite that actually and you used it in a way that you knew it was not meant. Do you understand? So you don't do that. But when I play people's back, I let you hear if I say the person is contradicting of their own selves. It's just like people ask me, they have asked me many times, well, why you don't why are you against Minister Farrakhan? Why you don't follow Minister Farrakhan? I said, Minister Farrakhan don't even follow Minister Farrakhan. Anytime you got a man who's teaching and he tells you don't do this, or he says that he believes this or he believes that, and then you hear him coming back later saying he don't believe what he told you he believed, then what does that tell you? He's not following himself. So if I trust him, he does not give me anything that I can stand firm on. The truth is the spiritual heaven. It is the rock. When Jesus said, upon this rock I will build my church, he meant upon this truth that he was teaching. He will build his church. But you got it all backwards. You say things and people believe what you say, and next thing you know, you condemning the very people who believe what you told them, because you turn around and condemn what you said. Now, I'll show you an example. First, does anyone have something they wanted to question me on or whatnot before I get started into this? I don't like people to think that I'm ignoring people. I always try to give people the benefit of talking to me if they have something to say, so that I can, make peace between us. A lot of times people, because they don't understand you, where you coming from on a certain thing, then they fall out with you. But when you can explain yourself to people, you can come to some kind of reasoning, agreement. It's like I remember that song. I think by Lattimore. Let's straighten it out. You know, he said, "How in the world you expect me to understand, woman, when you won't even tell me what's wrong?" Huh? So let's straighten it out. So you know, that's a good song. Now, let me see here. Y'all give me a minute.
Very nice. In your hospital. We need your skill. We don't need unions. We're going to agree and do right by each other anyway. We don't need unions.
Y'all give me a minute here. I'm trying to find something.
Now facing in the direction of the east, spread forth your hands in this manner. Bow your head, close your eyes, and repeat the prayer after me, but repeat it in silence.
We need your skill. We don't need unions. We're going to...
Just when now facing in the direction of the east, spread forth your hands in this manner. Bow your head, close your eyes, and repeat the prayer after me, but repeat it in silence. O Allah, guide me among those of whom thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those of whom thou hast preserved. Befriend me. In the name of Allah.
In the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, the one God to whom all... Hold on. Our time marches on. Nonetheless, brothers and sisters, we are taught by our leader, teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that life is based on time. If we lose one, we lose them both. So therefore, I take up no more of your time and bring before you the national representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is also the minister of Muhammad's Temple number 7, New York City. Minister Louis Farrakhan. In the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, the one God to whom all praise is due, the Lord of the world. And we thank Almighty God, Allah, for blessing us with our beloved leader and teacher, the messenger of Allah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And Brother Minister Yusuf Shah, Brother Ministers, brothers and sisters, I am very thankful and honored for this opportunity just to say a few words to you in advance of our beloved leader and teacher, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know, there's a saying in the Bible.
I wanna say this. I used to love to hear all of the ministers teach, but I used to especially love to hear Minister Farrakhan teach, because he would always get up there and he'd always embellish things. Now I know he was embellishing things, but he always, it was enjoyable listening to him teach. Do you understand? the most people, they used to love to hear him speak, which showed you that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he knew how to pick people and how to place them in a position where they could help him the most. Do you understand? Just like Malcolm, when people used to listen to Malcolm, they used to really love to hear what Malcolm had to say, man. Even though Malcolm was not a scriptural reader, Malcolm didn't do a lot of teaching on scriptures. None of them could, but people used to love to hear him speak because he was very charismatic. Do you understand? What is it, son?
Yes, sir. Brother Linden had typed a question when you were finding a place for Mr. Farrakhan, and he said, "Can you give the understanding of chapter 3, verse 48 and 49 in the Quran? In my Quran, they insert the understanding as Jesus, and it's causing confusion."
Chapter 3, verse 48 and 49.
Yes, sir.
It says of Mary. I remember the messenger. He he taught us that woman in Revelation that was pregnant with the child represented the nation and himself. And if you recall, this Holy Quran says Jesus and his mother were a sign. You see, a sign of what? A sign of what would happen here in the United States between the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam, and the birth of the Son of Man spiritually. And so it says, and when the angels, I'm going to start at verse 45. When the angels said, "O Mary, surely Allah gives thee good news with a word from himself, of one whose name is the Messiah." You remember the white man had a what you call counterintelligence program aimed against, especially against the Nation of Islam, the said Nation of Islam, to stop the rise of a black Messiah. Do you understand? And so the angel says, of one whose name is the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, worthy of regard in this world and the hereafter, and of those who are drawn nigh to Allah. And he will speak to the people when in the cradle and when of old age, and he will be one of the good ones, one who is of the good ones. This is the messengers of God are the good ones, and I am one who was born of them. And then it says, she said, "My Lord, how can I have a son? And man has not yet touched me." And he said, "Even so, Allah creates what he pleases." Allah raises whom he pleases. Create also means to teach and give understanding to. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was that one whom Allah said be to, and he became what Allah wanted in order to produce a son. Do you understand? And then he said, when he decrees a matter, he only says to it, "Be," and it is. And you notice, what is prophecy? It is the foretelling of what will be. Do you understand? Then it says, and he will teach him the book and the wisdom and the Torah and the gospel. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, if you look at Message to the Black Man, it's in there where he taught me the book, the Bible, and he taught me the Holy Quran, the book and the wisdom. And so the messenger, in the back of Message to the Black Man, it has a place where it says, "Guide to Understanding the Bible, Guide to Understanding the Quran." And it says, and he will teach him the book and the wisdom and the Torah and the gospel, and make him a messenger to the children of Israel, saying, I have come to you with a sign from your Lord, and I determine for you out of dust the form of a bird. Then I breathe into it, and it becomes a bird with Allah's permission. You notice the nation of the United States is referred to as Babylon, and they say Babylon has become the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Well, the term breathe into it of my spirit, and it shall become a bird by Allah's permission. This is what I'm doing now. I'm breathing into the black people, especially my people, and they are becoming a nation, a new nation. And this is what's happening with that. And I only stopped to explain that to you at this point because I know you're not asking just to be amiss, because I usually don't do that, but I did it for you. Now let's get back to this. Now I want you to pay attention.
Cast your bread upon the waters, and after many days you will see it coming back to...
Oh, and I'll tell you all of you this. You've had people up teaching you so many things that were so off base that you must be careful when you ask me questions, because the answer may cause you to disbelieve. So the Holy Quran says, O you who believe, ask not questions that the answer to may give you trouble. For if people before you asked such questions and became disbelievers therein. Do you understand? So you would do better to wait on me to go into things when I come to these subjects, to go into them, rather than run ahead. Do you understand? All right. Because if you didn't keep close follow of the messenger, you won't accept my answer. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you that woman in Revelation was him, you see. And so Allah intended to raise me up, and he sent the messenger, and the messenger taught me the book and the wisdom, and now I'm reciting the book and the wisdom, and I'm teaching you the understanding of it. Son of man, I have made you a watchman. Remember that? Okay. To the children of who? To the children of Israel. In other words, he shall bring forth judgment unto the Gentiles. Huh? There you go.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
You know, when a man casts his bread upon the water, he must of necessity be a patient man to wait until that bread comes back to him. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad 40 long years ago cast bread upon the water. 40 long years ago, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was missioned by Allah to raise the black man and woman of America up from the grave of ignorance and from a sleep in mental death. 40 long years ago, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad...
By the way, I purposely slowed this tape down, this recording down, so that you could hear Minister Farrakhan plainly. Do you understand? Okay.
Was given the hardest job ever given to a man in the history of men. The job of reforming the black man, cleaning the black man up, uniting the black man, bringing the black man face to face with God, and molding the black man once again into an independent nation. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad started off 40 years ago with no help but the help of Allah, and of course, Allah's help is sufficient. But with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, tenacity of purpose, his unshakable will, his great love for you and me. He set out to reform us. He set out to restore us. He set out to redeem us. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad cast his bread upon the waters. Elijah Muhammad, like the messengers of God before him, is unlettered according to the standard of education of this world. But as my beloved brother minister said, he's a God-trained, God-taught man. But in a world of disbelief, in a world where men have not known God, in a world where men have disrespected God, they couldn't see how God could have taught a man from among us, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But these same people who disbelieved that Elijah Muhammad had met with God believed that God had raised up Noah. They believed that God had raised up Lot. They believed that God had raised up Moses. They believed that God had sent Jesus into the world. And they believed that Almighty God, Allah, had raised up Muhammad. Well, I say to you, if God was powerful enough to send these unlearned men of the past to do a super task of reforming and reclaiming and redeeming a nation, has that God all of a sudden lost his power when it comes to the black man and the black woman of America? All praise is due to Allah. If Almighty God Allah could do it yesterday, he can also do it today. But if God can't send you and me a man, and Allah knows that we need somebody to help us. If Allah cannot send us someone today, then he never sent a man yesterday. We're not justified in believing in Moses, for we didn't see Moses. We didn't see him work. We're not justified in believing in Jesus, for we didn't see Jesus when he opened the eyes of the blind and made the deaf hear and the lame walk. We're not justified in believing in Lot and Noah, but here you live in the midst of a man whom you see opening blind black men's eyes, a man whom you see making deaf black men hear, a man whom you see making dumb black men speak, a man whom you see reforming drug addicts, making prostitutes to stop selling their flesh, a man whom you see uniting a people that you said could never be united. If you could believe in those prophets that you never saw, how come you disbelieve in a man that's working in your disbelief? Brothers and sisters, my time is short, but I do want to say this to you before the moment of truth arrives. And the moment of truth arrives when the messenger of God himself arrives. My beloved brothers and sisters, today we are honored and blessed to have with us not only some of Messenger Muhammad's followers from New York City, but some...
Now you heard him saying that if you can believe in a man that you never saw, you just heard about Jesus. You just heard about Moses. You heard about Muhammad. You heard about Isaiah. But you claim to believe in them. And then he said, if you can believe in those men whom you never saw, why you can't believe in a man who's working in your midst? That you see in him do these things, opening the spiritually blind eyes and the spiritually deaf ears. And that's what Farrakhan was saying there. And when he was tried for what he said he believed in, he denied the messenger.
Call me. And he said, when are you coming this way? I said, gee, I'll be there in September. I'm coming out that way. He said, well, I'll come and meet you. And right after Labor Day, I went to Los Angeles. And Jabril didn't have any money, borrowed some money to get there. I think he had a dime in his pocket and had on some shoes that was too big for his feet. But he got there, and he had a book in a paper bag. And we met in Hollywood at the hotel where I was staying. And he asked me about Master Farad Muhammad. I said, well, I love him very much, but I don't believe he's God. And he asked me about the...
Now, I want to stop right there. See, you hear what you want to hear. I hear what people tell me. Now, when he said that he loved Master Farad Muhammad, how could he love Master Farad Muhammad? He never met Master Farad Muhammad. He wouldn't have known of Master Farad Muhammad being God in person unless the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told him. That's the only way any of us knew that. So, listen to his words. When Bernard Kushmir, he changed his name to Jabril. When he came up to him and asked him about Master Farad Muhammad, Farrakhan said, he said, I love him, but I don't believe he's God. Now, just a moment now. So what was he then saying the messenger did? He was saying the messenger lied. The man wasn't God. I mean, if you say that Master Farad Muhammad was not God in person, you are saying that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad lied. And you ask me why I don't follow him? A better question is, why are you following him? No, I'm gonna teach you a lesson by coming in here, call yourself reprimanding me. Especially you who never was in the nation. You follow anybody that's the way you was doing when the messenger was here. Anybody who turned against the messenger, that's who you supported. I was there. I know you. Let me play that back again. Boy, the tape recorders and stuff sure are good. Huh? You can't deny saying what you said. Huh? This, as the Holy Quran say, this is our record that speaks against you with truth. Surely we recorded what you did. Huh? What is a writing other than a recording? You notice the record. What is, notice, spell record.
R-E-C-O-R-D.
Spell record.
R-E-C-O-R-D.
Surely we wrote what you did. The record of the wicked is in the prison. And what will make you know what the prison is? A written book, a recorded book. Huh? You know they got a talking Bible. Let's talk about it. For the blind. You know, it's written, you remember, what's the name? The Book of Eli? You remember Denzel played a blind man? But it was written in Braille, wasn't it? And and he was the recording when he got there and started reciting it back, huh? Okay. Now listen to this. Listen to his words.
Farad Muhammad, I said, well, I love him very much, but I don't believe he's God. And he asked me about Master Farad Muhammad. I said, well, I love him very much, but I don't believe he's God.
You see, that is a sham. How can you love someone that you never met? And it's just like when he said he loved the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Did he love him when he thought he was jealous of him? Tell me something. When you think people are jealous of you, and trying to block you from getting something out of jealousy, what do you feel? You feel resentment. If not hatred, you at least resent them for that. Huh? So when people was praising Minister Farrakhan and the messenger hit the table and said, yes, he's very well known, all right, so that when he turns hypocrite on me, the whole world will see him. Farrakhan even said, he said to himself, wow, why did he say that? And then he thought that the messenger said it because he was jealous of him. Huh? And his evil thought that he entertained about his Lord ruined him. That's what the messenger meant. When our brother told me the messenger said he cracked Farrakhan. I cracked Farrakhan. And they've been interpreting it to mean something that it didn't mean, because they didn't pay close attention to the messenger's teachings. The messenger said, if you got a stone that you want to build on, get one that won't crack if you put other stones on it. So, and Farrakhan, he went on in that same lecture, he told the people, and it's on tape, he said that he was sitting at the messenger's table and was about to start teaching on how envy and jealousy. Now, he already said who he thought was jealous of him. It sure wasn't the people who was praising him. I didn't hear you. And so he was going to teach on envy and jealousy and act like he was talking to the other laborers, but who he was really going to call himself lecturing was the messenger. And the messenger knew it, knew what he was called himself doing. And the messenger got up and hit the table and said, and walked out and said, I seek refuge from the envy of when he envies. And he came back and he said, and these was the words the messenger said to him. He said, brother, if you're looking for a board to put up in the corner of the building to uphold the weight of the building, you have to put stress on it. And if it weakens under that stress, then you know that it was not the board you was looking for. And you throw it away and you get another one. and Farrakhan said, I didn't know what he meant then. But yeah, the reason he didn't know what he meant was because he thought he was the messenger's equal. And so he found out that he was not. Do you understand? Because if he was the messenger's equal, he would never have did what he did. The messenger never turned on his teacher. When Master Farad Muhammad stood up and told the messenger, I'm not going to visit you no more if you ask me about the sun again. And the messenger didn't get mad. The messenger said, I wonder why I can't ask him that. And the next day when he came back, he taught him a little bit. He said, but not much though. So don't be getting your ears tuned up, because, huh? You know. And even when he was talking about Master Farad Muhammad, he said that if he was not really God, I think he would have found me over them 3 years that I was with him, saying, I don't believe you really God. Do you do you understand? The messenger would have been honest and told the man, but Farrakhan hid himself. He hid his true feelings. Do you understand? You see, and so that's the one thing you have to give Malcolm. When Malcolm fell out with the messenger, at least he was honest enough to say, well, I can't do this with you no more. Do you understand? And he went on, and messenger threw Wallace out. He put Wallace out because Wallace tripped Malcolm. Do you understand? And Wallace acknowledged that, remember? Said the messenger put him out because he thought he purposely, he caused Malcolm to stumble. And, and so that, and then when Malcolm realized, he tried to get back. But I'm going to play another tape for you. But first, I wanted you to understand, I'm not, you say, well, why are you telling us that people want to follow Farrakhan? Yeah, you go ahead and follow him. But where you messed up is when you came in here and tried to make me look like I'm wrong for pointing out his wrong, which shows that you are not a just person. And you deserve to follow people like him because you just like him. That's the difference in me and you. If you could be my best friend, my mama, my daddy, whoever, I'm not going to side with you when you're wrong. Not knowingly. I won't knowingly side with you when you're wrong. If I side with you, I believe that I'm doing the right thing. That's the difference in me and you. I'm not a hypocrite. You pretend to believe in truth and believe in the Word of God when you really don't. Look at all of you people out there that claim to be Christians. I invited you in here to explain your religion to me, so maybe I got something wrong about it, and you don't come in here. And all you who claim to be Orthodox Muslims, if I'm teaching something that is shirk, how am I going to know it if you don't come talk to me? But the truth of the matter is that the mere fact that you've had this religion for the past 1,400 years is proof that it's a lie. Otherwise, there wouldn't be no other religions but yours. Because Islam is prophesied to once the Mahdi come. Allah said he sent him with the guidance and the religion of truth, that he may make it overcome the religions, all of them. I'm the only one standing up teaching religion that don't nobody want to come argue with me about. So since you can't find fault in the religious doctrine that I'm teaching, you look for fault in me. So you can say you're better than me, huh? Well, that's what the devil said when Allah asked him. That's the prophecy that they would think they were better than me. You one sick puppy. But anyway, let me let you hear this man again, because I'm going to back it up at the beginning. This is my class.
Called me. And he said, when are you coming this way? I said, gee, I'll be there in September. I'm coming out that way. He said, well, I'll come and meet you. And right after Labor Day, I went to Los Angeles. And Jabril didn't have any money. He borrowed some money to get there. I think he had a dime in his pocket and had on some shoes that was too big for his feet.
Now, he ain't said that Jabril told him that. See, he makes up stuff. That's what I meant by he embellishes things, you know. But anyway.
But he got there, and he had a book in a paper bag. And we met in Hollywood at the hotel where I was staying. And he asked me about Master Farad Muhammad. I said, well, I love him very much, but I don't believe he's God. And he asked me about the messenger, and I said, I love him very, very much, but I don't see him now as the messenger. I see Prophet Muhammad as the messenger.
Was that not direct contradictory to what he said when the messenger was here? If you can believe in those men who you never saw, why is it you can't believe in a man that was working in your midst? He used to say he believed, didn't he? Matter of fact, he used to say, I know he's the messenger. Is that what he said? Well, you know, I likes to give people every benefit. Now, am I doctoring this? No, I want to hear from them who follow Farrakhan. Am I doctoring this? If he say he loved Master Farad Muhammad, but I don't believe he's God. He never met Master Farad Muhammad. So that was just some flattering talk to save face. Do you understand? He won't even be honest and say, I don't believe that stuff no more. I mean, why not just, he already had followed WD, and WD had said that the teachings was a lie, that the teachings that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching us was not true Islam. So, and he went out parakeeting that. Do you understand? So why didn't he just be honest and say he don't believe that no more? Why lie and say you love him, but you don't believe he's God? You love the messenger, but you don't see him as the messenger. I mean, listen.
Well, he said, here, I want you to read this and see him now as the messenger. And he asked me about the messenger, and I said, I love him very, very much, but I don't see him now as the messenger. I see Prophet Muhammad as the messenger.
Now, I want you to hear something here. You know, because y'all, I'm going to put a stop to you coming in here talking crazy to me. See, you got your people mixed up. Just a moment. Let's see. I gotta find it how I put it down here. Here it is.
The noise will cease. Here is the bridegroom. What did he give? These were surprised because their belief had gone out. started out. All had all had the faith. But it went away from them. And the Holy One refers to this kind of time of those who turned hypocrites. Time came too long. And hot. That shows you how the people love this world. They can't have patience to wait too long for an execution of it by divine. So they get unhappy and restless, and they say something similar to what we find over here in the Bible. In Paul's epistle, he says, they would say, why have we walked mournfully? And the wicked, meaning those that is not doing this, they are acting. You'll be going around mournful looking. But the Lord heard this saying. And the Bible says, when he ran up to the people, those that was afraid to turn back into the world, he said, those will be his. These will be mine. When a man is brave to break the law of God, which is good, then he defines God to bring about his execution to him for breaking the law. Because he disregards it and he don't like it. And he goes back to the end of God to join up with him. Again, then when he sees the approaching doom, he will want to go back in and join up with God. But God is not cheap. He is self-independent.
I reckon you heard that now. So you come in here trying to tell me about a man who I knew probably before you was born. And you want to come in here and try to tell me that I should follow a man who I know done deviated and walked out on the teachings. Then when he didn't get what he thought he was going to get, then he tried to go back and pick up the teachings again. And he's been doing that for years. One minute he's telling you that the messenger's passed away. I know because I kissed his forehead. In life, I kissed his forehead in death. That's what he said. Then he come back and tell you the messenger on the mothership now. Just any old lie will do. It's like these people talking about they waiting on Jesus. Jesus sitting on the right hand of the Father. Well, sitting where? You liars. You know, and I'm about sick of you. Anyway, what is it?
Islamic Shinobi asks, is now the right time to ask a question?
Yeah, it's always the right time to ask the question you in class. What is your question? Long as it's on the subject that I'm speaking on. Why don't you just call in? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. She says, okay, so I wanted to know why y'all created a new nation of Islam and still promote.
What you mean, why we created a new nation of Islam? The messenger said what he was teaching you was He was bringing the foundation for a new nation. This is what we are doing. See, you all was on the outside. You didn't understand what was going on. You probably wasn't even born when the messenger was here. There ain't never been a nation of Islam. The first student enrollment tells you that. The messenger asked the question. He said, what is the birth record of the said nation of Islam? Notice he called it the said nation of Islam. Just as he called us the so-called American Negro. You know why he called us so-called American Negro? Come on now, I want to talk to you. See, you can't talk to me like that. You need to just call up and we'll have a conversation. Because you all think you know something and you don't know nothing. To ask me why am I building the new nation of Islam is because the foundation of it was laid by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You don't ask the builder when he comes, why are you building on this? Why are you building another nation? All you doing is telling the man that you don't understand that a foundation is not the building. The foundation is that which the building sits on. The messenger didn't build the nation of Islam. The messenger brought the foundation for the one who's going to build the nation of Islam. God himself. And that's me. The messenger told you the black man is God. He just didn't tell you which one of us. But he did tell you that he is called and is known as the Son of Man. Do you know another one who's called and known as the Son of Man? Other than me? You see, you can't type things to talk to me. You're not answering none of my questions.
I'm sorry, I think it's a brother. He said, I gave him the numbers to call in. He just said, if you're not respectful, I'm going to leave.
Well, don't come if you think that you want to come in here and tell me how to talk. You don't come to my class to tell me how to talk. When have you ever seen me not respect people that came into my class? Point out the time that somebody came in here and I didn't show them respect. You just copping out. You don't really want to have no conversation with me. And if you're not planning on being respectful, you better not come in here. So.
Now he says, all right, brother, since you couldn't be respectful, I'm leaving now.
Okay. Did you hear that? Since I couldn't be respectful, he's leaving. You mean since I won't let you come in here and take over my class? That's your problem. That's your problem. See, this is the kind of folks that's out there. You know, the scripture teaches you that I wouldn't have any joy in the young men. The book says, therefore the Lord shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall he have mercy on their fatherless and widows. For every one is an hypocrite and an evildoer, and every mouth speaks foolishness. Now, did you hear that? Did you saw what he left in here? He says, since I'm not going to be respectful, he's not coming in here. Now, tell me something. How many churches have you went to where the preacher told you it's okay to stop him in the middle of his sermon and have arguments with him if you want to or whatnot? Do you know how disrespectful that is? Now that's disrespectful. What teacher do you know of that's worth a damn that won't defend what they teach? never go back and forth with none of your teachers in class. I did. And they always showed me I was wrong, but if I thought I had them on something, say, now look, you said so and so and such and so and so. And they said, no, you misunderstood. Now this is what I said, and this is what it was. And then they said, well, oh, and then the teacher enjoyed that. They used to commend us for standing up and going back and forth with them to show that we was paying attention. Do you understand? You notice, what was his first thing that he had to say?
The very first thing he said was, "It's now the right time to ask."
See? And now, what is that? What does that show you? See, he been over there listening to people like Farrakhan and all of them, and he think that's the proper way to do something. If you in a classroom, when have you ever asked the teacher, is this the proper time to ask questions? If you had a question, what did you do? You raised your hand. You don't ask, is this the right time to ask questions? Well, what you gonna do? Wait till the class is out and it's time for you to leave? That's a stupid question. How many times have I told people, if I say something that you disagree with or don't understand, stop me right there and ask your question? Isn't that right? He wants to try to come in here and defend Farrakhan. I know what that's about. You know, a liar always wants to try to defend another liar. Do you understand? Well, what he meant was, and what he... No, he meant what he said. You see? If he got a problem with something that I'm saying, if he's want to come in here and talk to me about what he said and why, he's welcome to. I'm not against Minister Farrakhan. I'm just against his hypocrisy. It's like the messenger told the preachers. I'm not trying to stop you from preaching. I just want to give you the right text to preach. Huh? Yeah, well, I ain't looking for no preachers. I don't need none. I need helpers to help me build this new nation of Islam. So you need to bring your skills and put them at my disposal. Was that on Facebook?
No, sir, it's YouTube.
Okay. You know what? That was just his way of copping out, because he know he ain't got no argument for me. Here I done offered people $50,000. You know, and I wouldn't care what the man. If man offered me $50,000 to come in here, I don't care how he talking. If he ain't telling the truth, I'm going in there. I'm gonna get that money. Do you understand? But they know I'm not lying. I got all the tapes, man. I got the evidence. What do you have? Nothing but a nasty attitude. Then you try to suggest to people that I'm not respectful. I tell you what, those who say that I'm disrespectful, come in and tell me what I'm disrespectful about. See, because most of you all don't even know how to conduct a class. You don't know how to conduct a meeting. And that's just, you know, even in court, you know, the way they conduct court, you have to, you notice most attorneys have to sit there and they have to take a lot of notes. You know why? Because when the person is on the stand testifying, giving testimony, the one that is putting on the testimony, whether it's the defense or the prosecution, you can't cross-examine the witness at that point about that question that they just answered. You have to wait until all the questions is asked, and the prosecution or the prosecution or the defense says, I have no more questions for this witness. Then the other one gets up there to get the question now. You see, if it was me, I'd take a tape recorder and just record everything that's said, and then I go back to their first question. Now, in that first answer you gave, you said so and so and such and so and so. Now, if that's true, then why was such and so and such and so and so? Do you understand? You see, that the way I do it is that if I say something that does not sound true to you, then you stop me right there and point out what I said, that you have some evidence that it's not true. Do you understand? You see, this man don't know how to conduct no trial. That's why people get away with lying so much. Because don't nobody, you notice on the news, they don't start trying to do like I've been doing, is fact check people. Huh? You just said such and so and such and so and so. Where's your proof of that? You're supposed to stop him right there. If we trying to get at the truth, how you going to get at the truth if you let somebody just fill the airways with lies? A lie gone unchecked is considered to be the truth. Huh? Crooks know that. That's why they talk so fast and try to slip as many lies in there as they can. And because they can't slip them in here, they get mad and say I'm disrespecting them. I'm not demanding no more out of them than I'm willing to give. They ask me, where's you getting this from? I read it to them. I show them where I'm getting it from. Huh? Well, if I got to show you where I'm getting mine from, how come you ain't showing me where you getting yours from? Because yours is a lie. You see? So the messenger told you, you go join with the devil, and then when you see the chastisement, you'll want to come back and join with Allah. He told you, but Allah is not cheap. Huh? Yeah. You think it's that simple, huh? You join with the enemies of God, and then when he vanquishes those enemies, then you will come back and claim you was with us, huh? Oh, okay. Keep thinking that. Anyway, it's time to get back into the January 6th. I think I spoke. We getting out of here at 10 tonight, if it pleases Allah. Because we in here every day, and I want to make sure that we. Where did we leave off at? 384. At what point? Rosen. Okay. Rosen. All right, let me see. Donahue and me, Rosen. It said, well, I'm going to start at this top. Trump was, quote, inadvertent, and it would not happen again. And that if anyone asked him to go to such a meeting, this is what that fellow, that crook did, Clark, I think it was Clark doing that. Let's go back to page 383. At the last paragraph, the last sentence, the last paragraph beginning. In his discussion with Acting Attorney General Rosen, Clark was, quote, unquote, defensive and, quote, unquote, apologetic. He was pretentious, in other words, to say, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to have no private meeting with Trump, and that won't happen no more. But he did it again. Then it says, claiming that the meeting with Trump was, quote, inadvertent, and it would not happen again. And that if anyone asked him to go to such a meeting, he would notify Rich Donahue and me, Rosen, unquote. Of course, Clark had good reason to be defensive. His meeting with President Trump and Representative Perry on December 22nd was a clear violation of department policy, which limits interactions between the White House and the department's staff. It seems like everybody violating policy now, huh? You know, once you get one that does it, it opens the floodgates to others. Look how long that crook up there in the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas, been violating policy, accepting extravagant gifts and stuff from buddies of his. Huh? At least handlers of his. Because them people ain't his buddy. You know, a person who is truly your friend would not ask you to do unethical things. Once they saw that he could be bought, they bought him. You understand? And as far as they're concerned, as he says, some of his best friends is niggas. You know, most people don't understand the white man called the dog a man's best friend. So when he says some of his best friends is Negroes, what he's saying is he considers Negroes despisers of God. They are dogs. Do you understand? Then it says, as Stephen Engel, let me see here. Let me make sure I'm going to say. As Stephen Engel, former Assistant Attorney General for the Office of Legal Counsel, explained to the Select Committee, quote, it's critical that the Department of Justice conducts its criminal investigations free from either the reality or any appearance of political interference, unquote. For that reason, the department has long-standing policies in place across administrations to, quote, keep these communications as infrequent and at the highest levels as possible, just to make sure that people who are less careful about it, who don't really understand these implications, such as Mr. Clark, don't run afoul of those contact policies. You see, you notice he said keep it as close to the vest. In other words, keep it among the ruling, the ones in charge. See, Clark is a subordinate. He ain't even had no business going to the White House. Do you understand? What are you doing over there in a private meeting with the president without checking with your superior? He should have kicked his behind out of there for that. So Rosen added that only the Attorney General or Deputy Attorney General, quote, can have conversations about criminal matters with the White House, or they can, quote, unquote, authorize someone from within the DOJ to do so. Clark had no such authorization. Huh? So that tells you that Clark was having these conversations with Perriman. Was that his name? Let me make sure I'm getting it right here. Was it Perry? Yeah, Representative Perry. Perry and Clark must have been having conversations as buddies. Huh? And Perry probably told Clark, look, man, you got a chance probably to be appointed Attorney General. Trump looking for somebody who will do this. And Clark probably told him, I'm your man. I got you. Huh? You know why? Because these people, they don't have any loyalty to this country. They don't even see the country as a blessing to them. The love of money done blinded most of these people. Do you understand? See, wealth is wealth. You know, did you see Spider-Man when his uncle told him that with great power comes great responsibility? Most people don't understand what that means. It is saying that you think that when you gain great wealth, that will solve all your problems. But in actuality, if you have no self-control, great wealth will wind up destroying you. Do you understand? So that's why it's better. It's better to work your way into wealth than it is to inherit it. Even though the Bible and the Holy Quran are my inheritance, I had to work. I've been working for the past 40-something years to get to the point where I could really understand and respect these books. Do you understand? Allah didn't just give it all to me. The messenger said when Master Farad Muhammad was teaching him, he said he never would just say something plain. You always had to dig for the meaning. You find it, but you got to search for it. And if you were sincere, you find the answer. Do you understand? You know. So Representative Perry continued to advocate on Clark's behalf. The congressman texted Meadows on December 26th, writing, quote, "Mark, just checking in as time continues to count down. 11 days to 1/6 and 25 days to inauguration. We got to get going." See, there you go. There you go. Boy, the Justice Department got a whole lot of warrants for arrest they need to be serving, man. It says, we got to get going. Representative Perry followed up, quote, "Mark, you should call Jeff. I just got off the phone with him, and he explained to me why the principal deputy position won't work, especially with the FBI. They will view it as not having the authority to enforce what needs to be done," unquote. Meadows responded, quote, "I got it. I think I understand. Let me work on the deputy position," unquote. Representative Perry then sent additional text, quote, Roger just sent me, Roger, meaning over and out. I got it. Just sent you something on Signal, unquote. Quote, "Just sent you an update file," unquote. And, quote, "Did you call Jeff Clark?" Unquote. They scheming, boy. Huh? 4:7. 4th chapter, 7th thing that is chargeable. On December 27th, 2020, President Trump called Acting Attorney General Rosen once again. At some point during the lengthy call, Rosen asked that Acting Deputy Attorney General Donahue be conferenced in. According to Donahue's contemporaneous notes, Trump referenced 3 Republican politicians, all of whom had supported the president's election lies and the quote unquote Stop the Steal campaign. One was Representative Scott Perry, another was Doug Mastriano, a state senator from Pennsylvania who would later be on the grounds of the U.S. Capitol during the January 6th attack. And President Trump also referenced Representative Jim Jordan from Ohio, praising him as a quote-unquote fighter. Representatives Perry and Jordan had often teamed up to spread lies about the election. The two spoke at a quote-unquote Stop the Steal rally in front of the Pennsylvania state capitol in Harrisburg, just days after the November election. The pair also pressed their conspiratorial case during interviews with friendly media outlets. President Trump made a quote unquote stream of allegations during the December 27th call. As reflected in his notes, Donahue considered the call to be an quote escalation of the earlier conversations unquote, with the president becoming more adamant that quote we weren't doing our jobs unquote. President Trump trafficked in quote unquote conspiracy theories. He had heard from others. Conspiracy theories he had heard from others. And Donahue sought to quote make it clear to the president these allegations were simply not true unquote. Donahue sought to quote correct unquote President Trump quote in a serial fashion as he moved from one theory to another unquote. The president returned to the discredited ASOG report, which former Attorney General Barr had already dismissed as complete nonsense. ASOG had claimed, based on no evidence, that the Dominion voting machines in Antrim, Antrim County, Michigan, had suffered from a 68% error rate. As noted above in Chapter 1, that was not close to being true. Bipartisan election officials in Antrim County completed a hand recount of all machine processed ballots on December 17, 2020, which should have ended the lies about Dominion's voting machines. See what you failing to understand, you know, even though they telling this is the truth that they telling, but it wasn't about disproving the lies. The lies were put out there to get the ignorant people in this country to overthrow their own government. Do you understand? You see, it was manipulative. The lies were told to manipulate a overthrow. Do you understand? Okay. The net difference between the machine count and the hand recount was only 12 out of 15. 718 total votes. The machines counted, beg your pardon? Says the net difference between the machine count and the hand recount was only 12 out of 15,718 total votes. The machines counted just one vote more for former Vice President Biden. The total number of counted votes was 15,718. And it was just one vote different. Do you understand? Than the hand count. It says the machine counted just one vote more for former Vice President Biden. See, in the recount, You know, it showed just one extra vote. Huh? The machines counted just one vote more for former Vice President Biden than was tallied during the hand recount. Donahue informed the president that he, quote, cannot and should not be relying on, unquote, ASOG's claim because it was, quote, unquote, simply not true. Well, at least it got witnesses that they told him that it was not true. Do you understand? And that's what this is about. It's showing evidence that Trump knew that all these things he was saying was a lie, and he kept on lying. Do you understand? And then he says whether he made them up or not, or say somebody told it to him. Well, it's mighty strange when people told him something contrary, he dismissed that. Yeah. This did not stop the president from later repeating the debunked allegation multiple times, including during his January 6th speech at the Ellipse. Acting Deputy Attorney General Donahue debunked a series of other conspiracy theories offered by President Trump during the December 27th call as well. One story involved a truck driver, quote, who claimed to have moved an entire tractor trailer of ballots from New York to Pennsylvania, unquote. There was no truth to the story. The FBI, quote, interviewed witnesses at the front end and the back end of, unquote, the truck's transit route, quote, looked at loading manifests, unquote, questioned the truck driver, and concluded that there were no ballots in the truck. No, they were just making up stuff to say. Do you understand? And it says, President Trump then returned to the conspiracy theory about voting in Detroit. Former Attorney General Barr had already debunked the claim that a massive number of illegal votes had been dumped during the middle of the night, but the president would not let it go. President Trump alleged that someone, quote, threw the poll watchers out, unquote, and, quote, you don't even need to look at the illegal aliens voting. Don't need to. It's so obvious, unquote. The president complained that the, quote, FBI will always say there's nothing there, unquote, because while the special agents, quote, the line guys, unquote, supported him, the Bureau's leadership supposedly did not. This was inconsistent with Donahue's view, but President Trump complained that he had, quote, made some bad decisions on leadership, unquote, at the FBI. President Trump, when that man became president, his major intention was to destroy democracy in this country and turn it into a dictatorship. That's why some of the first things he did was got with dictators and was getting advice on how to do this. Do you understand? You see? So, Trump also, remember, Putin said he helped him get elected. Trump also wanted to talk, quote, wanted to talk a great deal about Georgia and the State Farm Arena, unquote, claiming it was, quote, fraud staring you right in the face, unquote. President Trump smeared Ruby Freeman, a Georgia election worker who was merely doing her job as a huckster, quote, unquote, huckster, and an, quote, election scammer. That's what Trump called her, a huckster and an election scammer. President Trump said that, quote, networks, unquote, meaning the television networks had, quote, magnified the tape and saw them running them ballots through repeatedly, unquote. The president repeated the lie that Democrats had, quote, closed the facility and then came back with hidden ballots under the table, unquote. He suggested that both Rosen and Donahue, quote, go to Fulton County and do a signature verification, unquote. They would, quote, see how illegal it is, unquote, and, quote, find tens of thousands, unquote, of illegal ballots. President Trump, quote, kept fixating, unquote, on the supposed suitcase in the video, but acting Deputy Attorney General Donahue debunked the president's obsession. Quote, there is no suitcase, unquote, Donahue made clear. Donahue explained that the DOJ had looked at the video and interviewed multiple witnesses. The quote, suitcase, unquote, was an official lockbox filled with genuine votes, and election workers simply did not scan ballots for former Vice President Biden multiple times. All of this was recorded by security cameras. In response to what President Trump was saying during the conversation, Rosen and Donahue tried to make clear that the claims that the president made weren't supported by evidence. Quote, you guys must not be following the internet the way I do, unquote, the president remarked. But President Trump was not finished peddling wild conspiracy theories. In other words, lies. He wasn't through, he ain't never going to be through spreading lies. That's all he does. Then it says, the president pushed, oh yeah, I take that back. He going to be through pretty soon. I'm sorry. It says, in response, the president pushed the claim that Pennsylvania had reported 205,000 more votes than there were voters in the state. Quote, we'll look at whether we have more ballots in Pennsylvania than registered voters. Quote, unquote. Acting Attorney General Rosen replied. According to Donahue, they, quote, should be able to check that out quickly. But Rosen wanted President Trump to, quote, understand that the DOJ can't and won't snap its fingers and change the outcome of the election. It doesn't work that way. Quote, I don't expect you to do that, unquote, President Trump responded. Well, he got to cover his ass, you know. Just say, now, listen now, he said, I don't expect you to do that, unquote. President Trump responded, quote, just say the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me and the Republican congressman. See what he thought of your government? You know how he got that idea that you have all these crookedness in your government? Remember he said he used to donate to both sides of the aisle? And he went to their parties and all of that kind of stuff. He knew how corrupt they are. Do you understand? So it was ripe, as far as he was concerned, it was ripe for the pickets. Huh? Leave the rest. Listen to these words. When the man told Donald Trump, he said, but Rosen wanted President Trump to quote, understand that the DOJ can't and won't snap its fingers and change the outcome of the election. It doesn't work that way, unquote. And, quote, I don't expect you to do that, unquote. President Trump responded, quote, just say the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me and the Republicans in Congress. You see, this is the one thing that you have to understand. Even though they are corrupt, most of the white people in this country recognized the value of what they had here. That's why they have a system of checks and balances, so that, you know, can't nobody just walk in and do what Trump was trying to do. Do you understand? Because they know. I mean, George Washington told them that. He said, "I think I'd have made a good king, but you know, I fear them that come after me." Do you understand? You think Prophet Muhammad trusted all them people that was fighting on his side? No. He even said, he said, 3 generations after me ain't gonna be following me no more. They ain't gonna be of me no more. They gonna be done perverted everything that I brought. Do you understand? Okay. That's the kind of world you live in. You live in a world where people want power. People want power for the sake of having power. People, the kind of people that these present world was made of was lazy, shiftless black people. Do you understand me? You know, so they, you know, that's not saying that the gene pool was bad, but I'm saying that this is the kind of people that you have here. You notice most people, they want to get in a position of power so they can tell other people to work while they do nothing. You understand? There you go. Donahue explained this. Quote, Donahue explained, this is an exact quote from the president. Quote, we have an obligation to tell people that this was illegal, corrupt. This was an illegal, corrupt election, unquote. President Trump told the DOJ team at another point in the call. President Trump insisted this was DOJ's, quote, unquote, obligation, even though Rosen and Donahue kept telling him there was no evidence of fraud sufficient to overturn the outcome of the election. Quote, we are doing our job. We are doing our job, Donahue informed the president. Quote, much of the info you're getting is false. The call on December 27th was contentious for additional reasons. President Trump did not want to accept that the Department of Justice was not an arm of an election campaign. He wanted to know why the department did not assist in his campaign's civil suits against states. There was a simple answer. There was no evidence to support the campaign's claims of fraud. Donahue and Rosen also, quote, tried to explain to the president on this occasion and on several other occasions that the Justice Department has a very important, very specific, but very limited role in these elections. Let me show you something. How this wannabe godfather, this wannabe big shot con man, and he didn't even learn nothing from the movies he been watching about the Godfather. You saw the Godfather? You remember when Michael was getting ready to do something that was not above board? He sent his attorney out of there. Told him, you get out of here. Why? You can't involve your attorneys. You can't involve your Justice Department in your crookedness. Do you understand? But anyway, the man's a fool. The states, quote, run their elections. And DOJ is not, quote, quality control for states. Unquote. They had to school him. Huh? It says, see, he don't understand, you know, they don't understand the wisdom that went into setting this country up. Do you understand? The separation of powers. There's a state government and there's a federal government. The federal government is basically constitutional to make sure that the states in their governing remember that this is the United States of America, united under one constitution, one basic constitution. Do you understand? And so, yet, the states are sovereign to a point. The federal government can't just come in and take over the state. Huh? Separation of powers. That was done because they know how corrupt and how power hungry people are in this country. Huh? How, and not just in this country, people in this world are power hungry. And whatever they can, look what Putin doing over there to Ukraine. Trying to take it. Huh? So, it says the states, quote, run their elections. And DOJ, quote, quality control is not quality control for the states, unquote. DOJ has, quote, a mission that relates to criminal conduct in relation to federal elections, unquote, and also has, quote, related civil rights responsibilities. That's where your Constitution is. The rights of human beings, the civilized rights, that the civilization, the rights of this civilization that's afforded to everybody within the borders of the United States. Do you understand? Then it says, but DOJ cannot simply intervene to alter the outcome of an election or support a civil suit. When President Trump made these demands on December 27th, it was already crystal clear that the Department of Justice had found no evidence of systematic fraud. Well, Donald Trump had told him, just say it. And he said, just say the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me and the Republicans. Just do this one crooked thing for me and get on out the way. Huh? That's what he was telling them. The department simply had no reason to assert that the 2020 election contest was, quote, an illegal, corrupt election, unquote. Quote, people tell me Jeff Clark is great. You know this. Everybody great that'll help him do something crooked. Hallelujah. People tell me, quote, people tell me Jeff Clark is great, unquote, and that, quote, I should put him in, unquote. President Trump said on the call, quote, people want me to replace the DOJ leadership, unquote. Donahue responded, sir, quote, sir, that's fine. You should have the leadership you want. But understand this, changing the leadership in the department won't change anything. Unquote. It says, the president did not really care what facts had been uncovered by the Department of Justice. President Trump just wanted the department to say the election was corrupt, so he and the Republican congressman could exploit the statement in the days to come, including on January 6th. And when Rosen and Donahue resisted the president's entreaties, he openly mused about replacing Rosen with someone who would do the president's bidding. Okay? The 4th chapter and 8th point of interest. Congressman Scott Perry calls Donahue. Toward the end of the December 27th call, President Trump asked Donahue for his cell number. Later that day, Representative Perry called Donahue to press the president's case. Representative Perry was one of President Trump's key congressional allies in the effort to overturn the election's results. You mean to overthrow the government? Huh? It says, Representative Perry was an early supporter of the, quote, unquote, Stop the Steal campaign, and, as noted above, addressed the crowd at one such event outside the Pennsylvania state capitol in Harrisburg on November 5th, 2020. You know, if you want to put a stop to these boys, these tails wagging the dog, you got to put a stop to gerrymandered districts in this country. Then I'm going to tell you something, that will make people fear the voters. They will fear the majority of the American people. And if they get in that office, they know that they will be snatched out of there the minute they get to clowning. You understand? You see, that's not stopping racists from having representation. It's stopping racists and bigots from tearing up this country. You understand? All right. Representative Perry was also one of 27 Republican congressmen who signed a letter. Oh, by the way, I think I better tell you this. You know the story of Humpty Dumpty? Well, it goes, Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And all the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty together again. Now, I remember the story of Lazarus. And it said there was a rich man who fared sumptuously every day. And there was a beggar named Lazarus laid at his gate, begging to be fed with the crumbs that fell from the rich man's table. And so the rich man died, and in hell he lifted up his eyes. And the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. And the rich man, he, seeing Lazarus afar off in the bosom of Abraham, he cried out, "Father Abraham, I will make thee a father of many nations." Father Abraham, send Lazarus to let him dip the tip of his finger in the water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. And Abraham looked at him, but before I kind of jumped the gun on that. When the rich man died and in hell lifted up his eyes, he cried out to Abraham to have mercy on him. And Abraham told him, he said, "Son, remember how in your lifetime you had good things, your good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted and thou art tormented." And so he said, and besides all that, I can't send Lazarus over there. It's a great gulf between you and I. What is the gulf? You never believed in the scriptures. Then he said, "Well, Father, I have 5 brothers. Will you let him go to them?" He said, "They have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear them, all the king's horses and all the king's men. All the scriptures." Remember, the Son of Man is the king. Couldn't put him together again. The messenger said the scientists have agreed that the white race is just disagreeable to live with in peace. They can't do nothing with it. It didn't say the king couldn't do nothing with him, but the king's men couldn't. do you understand? So I don't want you to think that I'm having exercise in futility here. You see, the king's horses and king's men might not couldn't do nothing for him, but the king himself can. Do you understand? I notice ain't no whole lot of white folks riding around here with no Confederate flags on their car no more. So I told you, if I see it, I'm going to cast whoever driving it into hell. Because that is a perfect insult to me. For you to be riding around here with a flag that represents that you wish that you could put me back in slavery. That tells me you ain't sorry for what your fathers did. You don't feel nothing for what they did. And if you stupid enough to not let your children learn about that, and they want to grow up doing what you've been doing, all hell is what's going to be for them. They ain't finna carry on America. They going to hell with you. The Lord shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall he have mercy on their fatherless and widows. For every one is an hypocrite and an evildoer, and every mouth speaks folly. And for all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand stretched out still. I was told Air Force One flew over Fayette yesterday or whatever, but that's fine. I ain't got no dog in the hunt against President Biden. President Biden is doing his best to do right and trying to convince the majority of the people in this country to join with him to do what is right. And I'm going to help him as much as I can. But beware of this. Be aware that I am aware of what's going on here. Yeah. Okay. We're going to put a pin in it right there. I don't want you to walk out of here forgetting what I said. No. I warned you, and I'm not going to say it no more either. I see a Confederate flag flying on your yard or wherever, I'm going to cast you and your household in hell. You think I ain't got no power to do so? You gonna let me see that then. I'll show you what kind of power I got. I also told you that the Holy Quran tells me one day that I will be able to just say, die in your rage, and that's what will happen to you. You will fall dead. Then you will understand that, yes, mind truly is over matter. Why you think the prophets all told you to let me be your fear and let me be your dread? And before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord, I will send you Elijah. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you about me. And all you niggas out there, let me tell you something. I'm getting sick of you. You come in here talking crazy to me and then accuse me of disrespecting you. I didn't find your class and come in there. You found mine. Nigga. Now you keep clowning. Anyway, and don't none of y'all try to talk like me. You ain't me. Am I clear? These old selfish, stingy people can't stand to see a black man with anything. So, all right, I'm gonna, sometimes you have to let people know where to get off. You know, we're not immune to getting angry with you. The messenger told you that. And when one of us is angry, both of us is angry. So, now, any questions? Let me tell you something. A classroom is a place for learning. It's not a comedy show. It's not a place where you go for relaxation. It is a place for learning. And most of the best teachers that I had were the ones I was scared to clown in the room of. When we got in there, the teacher told us, when you come in my class, you sit down and be quiet and you wait until I get in here. I don't want to come in here and find the class and all this commotion and stuff. I know how teachers conduct themselves. I watched it as I was growing up. The teachers, most of the teachers I had, they were no-nonsense people. Till you find a chair and sit down and be quiet. I didn't say that you disrespecting me. I got my behind over there and sat down. I'm going to give you what your mom and daddy should have gave you. That's your problem. You ain't had nobody to raise you. You're just stupid. Well, you won't get away with that with me. Now, if you don't want to be corrected, don't come in here. I'm not begging for money. I don't have to beg nobody for nothing. You gonna wish you had gave me my tithes and offerings. You owe me. Will a man rob God? Yet you have robbed me. I'm going to fix you too. Well, anyway, it's 10 o'clock. Let me let y'all go. And, sometimes you have to leave people with something on their mind. And that's what I did. Okay. May Allah bless us and keep us safe and in our right minds. And if it pleases Allah, I will speak with you some more tomorrow. And we'll go back. We left off on page 588. Wasn't it 588? I mean 388. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We left off on page 388. All right. Then may Allah's salam alaikum.